I mentioned that after the dissolution, the site was given to Mary, but actually after that as well, the church building was largely destroyed, and Lord Somerset came to the site and took some of the stone to build Somerset House on the Thames. Not the one that we know now, the one before that.
So he also knocked down the church at the original St Mary le Strand.
Yes.
Have you some of that?
Yeah. Lord Somerset
he was a bit
is
of
a bit of a reduce, reuse, recycle, but
So hang on,
yeah.
What an amazing space.
Yeah. We're stood inside now the much repaired 18th century church.
But that said, like that wall there goes back a long way.
It's such a hodgepodge of stones. You can especially see it on this wall. You get to the top and you have modern brick. There's chunks missing out of the window frames. The only original medieval part of this church are these two pillars either side, the very base of them, those stones.
These are the ones that go back to the earliest times.
Yeah, in the early 20th century. It looked like this.
So
a little
galleries.
bit. Yeah.
And
it had a mezzanine,
pews. Yeah.
wooden fixed pews. And when I think about a church, I think about an image
Like this. And it looks like there was stained glass in that window there.
So that is the stained glass.
That was taken downstairs.
Yeah. But then in 1941, an incendiary bomb came through the roof, destroyed it. The roof was gone, and that's why you get this layer of modern bricks, because they've had to build it up to put a roof on top.
And you looked at it outside, and it's very modern.
It's
it's
a bit harder to tell in here because it's all whitewashed, but outside it is very much red brick. We've got a reproduction of a print here. Well, there's a knight. This post is early to mid-50s, and it's calling out to members of the Modern Order of St John to give donations to help rebuild the church. So you can see the church without a roof, and you can see St Paul's in the background, destroyed by enemy action in 1941. The Order of St John of Jerusalem are still calling on that Crusader imagery.
But very much of its time, and this was after the war, not during the war.
Yeah, after. Yeah, it was destroyed in 41. They rebuilt it in the 50s, finished in 58. And what's interesting is that it was only supported. Donations were only accepted from members of the order. Because it was their priory church, but you have to wonder, would they have reached their target goal a bit sooner if they opened it up a bit more? And it's really, so the designer, the architects were Seeley and Padgett, and they did a lot of churches. They did a lot of rebuilding in post-war England, and I think it's a bit of a controversy about how plain the church is, but I think it's beautiful. And this has been built in the 50s in post-war Britain when supplies are scarce. So I think what they've done with it is very impactful, and I think it's a lovely church.
I do as well. It's respectful of the various histories, but it's not like you could have bought it. You could have restored it back to a moment in time, because there isn't a moment in time to take it to.
What are you restoring it to? Are we knocking this down and building the new rounded nave again? And actually, in the period of the history of a church on this site, that rounded nave, even though it was the first, was only here for about 150 years.
It's rather grand.
Yeah.
You've got this astonishing cross. It's going to sound silly. When I first saw this, I thought it was the four evangelists, but it's not. It's the lion and the unicorn.
Yeah.
I hadn't really noticed that the lion and the unicorn are necessarily kind of incorporated everywhere on that cross.
Over here, we've got a painting. He's wearing his cross, and there are kind of fleur-de-lis in there. You get a couple of different variations, but this is much older. This is.
So is the lion and the
17th.
A British or English symbol?
It only joined the logo when the Royal Charter was signed, and it was allowed to use the royal emblems of the lion and the unicorn.
Oh, okay.
So actually, the inclusion of this format of the cross is less than 150 years old.
and it's an indication of it's the English Maltese Cross rather
than it's the English kind of order.
All of them so far had the cross.
They've all got that cross. I could feel pretty confident in saying that this is a Grand Master, somebody very senior in the order, because that red with the white cross on it. Only Grand Masters and Grand Priors are allowed to include that in their coat of arms.
So those titles, are they still used to this day?
So there's still a prior. There's still a prior of the Order of St John, the modern Order of St John.
But Grand Masters and
Grand Master, that's interesting.
Sounds very
there's
Masonic.
There's a very direct link. So obviously dissolution of the monastery, England, there wasn't a continuation after the 1540s. There was elsewhere, that's why we've got the Spanish Knight downstairs. And there is an organisation that are based in Rome called the Sovereign Military Order of Malta, and they can trace a direct lineage. Whereas now, because we've had a gap, we are more like
a sibling or
cousins.
Yes,
cousins. We've got some beautiful flags up here. The ones along this side are important members of the order.
Oh, so each one of the flags is the arms of a person.
Mm-hmm. And the ones on the left are the countries that St John Ambulance is present in. England over there, we've got like the Tudor Rose, we've got Scotland with the thistle. What have we got next? We've got Wales with the dragon. For South Africa, then we've got New Zealand and Canada. That one with the eye is for the St John of Jerusalem Eye Hospital. Yeah. We've got Australia, we've got Singapore, we've got United States, Hong Kong, Western Australia and Kenya.
Which is the Black Swan?
Black Swan, Western Australia.
Western Australia.
Western Australia. Such a long time where they were here, and then such a long time where they weren't here, and then being able to repurchase the land in the 20th century so that they've come back to their home, I think is really nice. The royal family are very linked to this. It's a royal charter.
Yes.
So automatically the head of the monarch is the royal head of the order.
Yes.
What I really like is that like the Queen has been in this room, and I was like, if I was the Queen, I'd only walk like that, like I'm in chairs.